Hey there. As you maybe know, I'm a college teacher. I teach stop motion animation, among other things, and I'm an author and an animator. So I like to make stuff, but I also like to show how the stuff is done and show how things get made. So I thought I would do this video about the little Halloween skeleton piece that I animated just the other day. There he is. Just to talk a bit more about the process and about how I made the stuff. And it's a simple little animation, but it has some neat tricks in it that may help you if you're trying to learn more about stop motion. So what I'm actually going to do is, this is a bit like teaching online as I'm doing these days. So I'm going to switch my camera view back and forth. I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to show you all sorts of different things. I hope you enjoy it. So just bear with me here. I'm going to switch to my webcam view. All right, here we go. So just so you know, this is not the camera that I animated the clip with. This is a nice webcam that I have. It's nice wide angle, but it's not the camera. The camera I animated with was a Canon Rebel DSLR camera, so a nicer resolution, fancier, excuse me, fancier camera. So this just gives you a sense of my basic setup here for creating that clip. You got a curved background here. It's just a simple sky that's attached to another board back here. See that? It's like a background. If you've got my book, you'll see that exact same background in the book, that foam core backdrop that's there. And then it is a construction board here, working from the back to the front. It's just a couple of branches from the backyard with held in this piece here. It's called a helping hand. It's very useful because you can position things if you're creating little shapes or little things to come into your frame like that, and also for making crafts and props and stuff. It's got little grippers so you can hold things, so that's very handy. Down here for the landscape in the back, it's just a piece of Bristol board, and all that is just a simple piece, well, it just is what it is, and then I taped it onto this piece, and this piece is foam core. All it is a piece of white foam core. I put a real fast coat of paint on it. You can see the paint doesn't go too far. I framed up my shot first because I knew what my clip was going to be. So I framed it up first, and then that way I knew how much or how little of the set I was going to have to make. So that's a really handy tip. I use that all the time when I'm making something. If you can, frame through your camera first, get your shot, at least roughly, figured out so that you're not making way too many things that you're not actually going to need. These little tombstones here are just bits of illustration board. So this is a bit firmer than Bristol board, and it's a bit better for working in certain little props and stuff. It's a bit firmer. And that's all that is. I just put a quick coat of paint on it and then a bit of plasticine on the back. Here's another little tip. I set these in once I had my frame really the way I wanted it, because that let me sort of adjust things to camera to make things look as nice as I could, rather than gluing them down, which would really, you know, be committing myself. This way it let me dress it to frame. That's what we call it in the world of set dressing, which is where I also worked before I moved into animation. So when it comes to dressing sets, that's a little tip for you as well. All these are the same idea here. So let's take a look at the coffin. So the coffin is illustration board. Again, that's all that is illustration board. To make the coffin, I actually just scored one long strip of illustration board, and then on the one side scored it, and then that let me fold it into the shape that I wanted. And the shape I just drawn out on a piece of paper, just roughly, and figured out to scale what I was going to need, because of course the coffin has to match the skeleton's size. And then to keep the lid attached, it's just, if you can kind of see on there, it's just a strip of masking tape. And then I painted over the masking tape. Masking tape is great to work with because you can paint over it, and it's actually pretty durable. I also put like a layer of masking tape around the edge of the coffin, just to sort of tidy it up a little bit from the hot glue, because I used hot glue to secure the back. So I really needed the back secured on here because I knew I was going to attach this rig, and I know it's kind of a mess now because I kind of tore it apart. But here's a good trick when you're doing a rig. Check this out. It's a piece of armature wire, hot glued onto the surface, and then a bit of tape on top just to press it down while the glue is drying. Of course, it's going to damage things when you pull it up, but if you're prepared for that, then it's okay, and it really gives you a secure grip, And then this part of it is, again, a piece of armature wire, and I hot glued that and taped it onto the back of the coffin because I really wanted this secure during the animation. There's no rig removal in the clip. It's all just hidden rigs that you don't actually see. So I wanted it really sturdy. And I also needed the little skeleton to be very sturdy as well for the animation. Let's see if the skeleton will come out here. Okay, so there we go. See it from the side. All it is again, some wire connecting it. Not sure how well we can see it with our lighting here. Connecting it onto the back of the coffin. Okay, so that is also really secured onto the little skeleton so that it would hold its position while I was animating it. So a lot of careful rigging in this and careful thinking through. Lots of labor in it, but then once I was actually animating it, everything was really sturdy and really secure, and that's really important when you're animating. You don't want stuff wiggling around on you. And let's see, what else can I tell you before I share screens here? I'm going to show you some more stuff about the making of. When it comes to the lighting, it's just this really simple desk lamp that I've got, and that desk lamp's coming down to give a nice bit of highlight to the sky that's there. And then the other thing is this piece here from an IKEA light. This thing I get a lot of use out of. It's just a flexible light with some black wrap, which is like a really industrial strength aluminum foil. And with that on, it lets me shape my light a little bit. And it's really great for offering sort of a spotlight or a really specific little place of light, and really versatile and really useful. So that's a really nice light that I use all the time for stuff, but very basic, really simple stuff, right? Haven't spent a lot of money on this little studio setup, and haven't spent a lot of money on these materials. So all of that you see there is a couple of dollars worth of materials. So hope that sort of inspires you in some way. Let me just show you here as I share screens. I want to show you some of the details of the puppet itself. There you go. That's all that puppet is a little bit of armature wire. For scale, if you're metric, it's about, oh, shoot, I forget how big it is now, but it's about the scale of my hand. I don't have the measurement here, but it's about the size of, well, you saw my hand in front of the camera. So that's all it is, a bit of armature wire arranged in a certain way, just carefully sort of thinking through what the little shapes are that they have to be. And then I use plumber epoxy, and plumber epoxy works really well to make bones. You have to be careful with it. It's smelly and it's not so good for your skin, so you have to be really careful with how you work with it. There's other materials too you could use, but I happen to use that for this particular puppet. And then from there, there's some more sort of behind the scene for you. Really basic, right? It's not beautiful looking stuff until you've painted it and lit it and put it in front of the camera. But there you see the little skeleton. It's just a little epoxy with armature wire and masking tape. So I use masking tape to build up what would be the bones, just to give the body some thickness, and then a coat of paint to make it look like a skeleton. And here's just one more sort of process photo for you, and there's my camera pointing in the way that it is, so that you can just sort of see that setup again. All right, so let's see, anything else to tell you about when it comes to the animation? Well, you study it if you want to learn more and watch that clip and learn more about the process of stop motion. That's really practice, so you practice that, and I bet you'll get better as an animator. And let's see, anything else to tell you? No. Hey, go buy my book. That's always a good idea. You'll find it on Amazon, Stop Motion Filmmaking by Christopher Walsh. You'll find these sorts of tips in it, and you'll find lots of other stuff as well. So I hope you enjoyed this little video, and I guess I'll wrap it up now and just say Happy Halloween 2020.